everybody. This is Steve Ward, Director of the Academic and Career Planning Center. I am here with Carter Larson, your student, what do you call it?
Student Government, Vice President. Hi, my name is Carter. I'm going to be a junior studying elementary education at USD.
So we are on Plum Street. You can see the sororities and fraternities down here. And then across the street is Prentice Park. What are your memories of Prentice Park, Carter?
I have a lot of memories at Prentice Park. We had the basketball courts there, there's Horseshoe, and then we also have the pool, except the pool now is only 2 years old, so it's a really nice pool.
When it's open. All right, we're going to head down south on Plum Street toward Main Street, and we're going to go to, our next stop is going to be Student Health. So, coast is clear. This is also the home to USD Student Health. If at any point you come down with symptoms that you are suspects, that you are suspicious might be COVID related, or I don't care what other symptoms you got, come here and get checked out. What's your advice, Carter?
Yeah, with these uncertain times, COVID testing, they also have drive up here. So if you call in advance, this is where you would get tested, and they can come out to your car and get you tested.
Very important thing, and let them know you're a USD student, so the campus can be warned about your condition if it becomes a serious COVID thing. Keep us all safe.
Some of the golf course is below the hill, and then a lot of it is above hill. But like we talked earlier, the flood, that's where lower Vermillion, that's where old Vermillion used to be. So it's cool to go down below the hill and then up above the As we're heading west down Main Street, you can see this big yellow house right here is the home of our president, Sheila Gestry.
This house has been a prominent home in Vermillion for over 100 years. It became the president's home early in the 20th century. Turning down Forest Avenue, and this is one of the oldest neighborhoods in Vermillion, and this is just south of Main Street, right before you get to downtown from the east, and it's just a great example of kind of tree-lined streets that exist south of Main, where you can enjoy walking and being safe while you do so. You always want to have a friend with you, have your cell phone with you, obviously. Vermillion is a very low-crime town.
Overall, Vermillion is a very safe community. Along with walking over here, you can also go on bike rides, runs, or whatever you like to do. It's a good area to go. One of the cool things you can do is head to the edge of town and overlook Missouri Valley. So we are on Canby Street, and there's a plaque here that overlooks
the valley and describes the history of Old Vermillion. And you can see where Vermillion used to be located, and where the Vermillion River is right now was where the Missouri River was back in the 1800s. And then after the flood of 1881, the Missouri River moved, and so Vermillion was forced to move up to the bluff and create the University of South Dakota where you attend now. We're approaching downtown from the east, and on the right hand side is Bob Sinclair, where you can find a trustworthy place to get your car fixed quickly and relatively inexpensively. There are also a lot of churches in this area. As we enter downtown, the United Church of Christ, Methodist Church is up here.
And to the right is the nail salon. You can't see that right now. My sister's gone it numerous times when she went to college here.
All right, everybody, we're approaching downtown. We're going to take a left here and point out the Vermillion Public Library. Several banks. You can do local banking here. Local churches are often located on Main Street.
This is the Vermillion Public Library. It is recently just built, so it's a nice place you can go if you wanted to get out of campus and have a place to study.
We're now turning right on Kidder Street and heading to the post office. This is the old lumber company here. Popular drinking spot, but also eating spot, so you don't have to be 21 to go in. And to your right is the post office. On the left, upcoming here, is a Vermillion tradition, our pizza, best pizza in town. And then a number of bars and restaurants. Movie theater is here on the right. Obviously not open now, but hopefully will be soon.
Within the last couple of years, they've made some cool murals on the walls too, so downtown is always a cool place to come walk through to see those paintings.
Often live music going on downtown, coffee shops. You know, Vermillion, for being a small town, really has great restaurants, and we'll talk about a couple of them here. But where you're?
Oh, we passed one of my favorites. It's called Hartford Steakhouse. It's a good place to get some steak. If your parents ever come to town, that's a nice place. But it's also cheap where you could go with your friends too.
Dakota Brick House has really good food, as does Cafe Brulee.
Up here to the right is the Civic Council. It's kind of like your local Goodwill. It's a good place to go when if you might have like a theme party, or if you have Halloween. It's a good place to go for random costumes or attire you might need.
So we're heading out of town west, going past the winery. This place makes their own wine, makes their own whiskey. So we're heading west, and we're heading to Clay County Park. So we're on Timber Road, which is just off of Highway 50, heading to Yankton. And we are approaching Clay County Park. There's a Clay County Nature Trail that heads into the woods and then leads to the river, and it is a 2.5 mile trail, I believe. It's really pretty and interesting.
I have camped here a couple times with my family. camp event. Me and my siblings have pitched a tent here. It's been a good time.
All right, we are on the Missouri River. This part of the Missouri River is one of a very few designated as natural and is actually a national park. The river here in this part of South Dakota looks as close to what it did when Lewis and Clark traveled down here 200 years ago. Lewis and Clark actually came to and through Vermillion. We know this, or at least the area that was Vermillion at the time. We know this because they recorded themselves on Spirit Mound, which is about 5 miles north of Vermillion. It's one of the few places that we know for sure Lewis and Clark stood, and in fact, about the only way to get there would be to go through where Vermillion is located. Vermillion was founded as a river town, and it boomed in the late 1800s as a stop for gold miners to pick up supplies before heading out to the Black Hills to mine gold. And then in 1881, there was a flood that hit Vermillion and Yankton and essentially wiped out Vermillion. Vermillion was located on the Missouri River, not on the bluff like it is now at the time, and the flood wiped out the town. And so when we pointed out the post office earlier, that was the location of the first building of the University of South Dakota. And then in 1883, Old Main was built on its present location, and that was the university. There's no other buildings where the university students lived, ate, and went to class all in Old Main. And when by students, I mean 5 or 6 students who went to school at the university at the time. What are your memories of the river, Carter?
I have a lot of memories. My family used to go boating here, but then once I started going to USD, there's a place called Burbank Beach, which is southeast of Vermillion. That's a fun place that a lot of kids go. One thing to keep in mind is that the river is they call it the Mighty Mo for a reason. It is very strong. Don't take the current lightly, because there's usually an instance every year where someone doesn't realize the current is so strong and then they can get pretty hurt from it. So it's important to be safe when you're swimming and try to wear a life jacket as much as possible. At the local Ace Hardware, you can rent out kayaks too. So if you wanted to kayak from a different dock down west of Vermillion, you can come and then land here. That's a fun thing to do.
That's a good, yeah, excellent idea.